Hello. So I finished with my videos on games I got for Christmas, as I only got 3. Now I'm back to doing videos on games I own that I've only played once, as you can see. Next up is Catacombs, 3rd edition. I thought I had actually played this twice, but when I looked on my logged plays on Board Game Geek, it showed only once from 2016. So anyway, maybe I didn't log a play, or maybe I'm just remembering wrong. But since I only show one logged play, I'm going to do a video on this. So I'll show how to set up, how to play, and then a couple of example turns. So let's get going. Alright, so in setup, you'll always have 4 heroes to play. Now there's 6 heroes to choose from, but you'll always have an overseer and then 4 heroes. So if you're playing with 5 players, you'll have 1 overseer, and then each player will choose a hero to play. Or if you're playing with 2 players, one person will play the overseer, and the other person will control all 4 heroes. But there are 6 possible heroes to choose from. As you can see here, I've got set up Ilani the Thief, Zorik the Barbarian, Morog the Skeleton Explorer, and Varesh the Wizard. But there is also Olira the Thief. Sorry, I mean Olira the Elf, and Rusan the Chicken Champion. So then each hero player will take a hero board, which looks like this, and they'll take their hero portrait card and place it on this space, and then they'll place their hero rules card and place it on this space. And some heroes may start with an ability, such as Varesh the Wizard. He starts with an ability, which is Fireball, and the ability cards have this back. The hero portrait cards have this back, and the hero rules cards have a back similar to that of the hero card. But you'll see it goes, the rules card has the same name as the hero. And the rules card for the hero shows their base shot and any special rules that apply to them. Also shows their starting health, so the hero will put a health marker at the shown starting health. You'll see it's 10 for Ilani the Thief. Zorak the Barbarian, his starting health is 12. And it also shows that he starts with a couple of items, the Berserker Battle Axes ×2. So you'll find the items deck, which is the deck with this back, and get the 2 Berserker Battle Axes. And start with those. And they go here. It shows the item back. Item or spells go in this space on the player board. So we'll just put those there. And taking these items, starting items, is optional. I guess the reason you may not want to take them at the beginning is if you want to leave some available for purchase later, maybe by another player. I'm not sure, but I just start with the standard starting items as shown on the rules card, but again, that is optional. Morag the Skeleton Explorer has a starting health of 10, and that just shows his base shot. These icons here, we'll talk about a little bit more later. He doesn't have any starting items. So we'll go on to Varesh the Wizard. He does have a couple abilities. Fireball, so you see that's an ability card, so he gets the Fireball. That goes here on the player sheet, shows the back of the abilities. So he gets that, and then he also has, these are spell cards, so he starts with several spell cards. So let me gather those. So you'll see the spell cards have this spell book on the back of them. And he says he gets 2 cure poison, so I started with 2 cure poison. Anyway, I've gathered all these spells, and because they are on his rule card, so he starts at those. And you can see there's the any items and spells you have go in this spot here. And Varish's starting health is 8, so we'll put that there. And of course each character will take their corresponding wooden piece that goes along with their hero. Okay, then the Overseer will choose the first game board to place. There's 3 possible boards in the base game, and they are double-sided, so the Overseer chooses one, places the brown obstacle or big brown wooden discs in the holes of the board, and puts it in the center of these barrier walls. And of course, ideally you will play on a table where you have room to get around all sides of the board, but unfortunately for me, I have just this little table here in my office area to play on, so I fit it as best I can. But anyway, the Overseer places the table, places the big brown wooden discs inside, fits it in the middle of the barrier walls. This icon and this line show that the hero discs will start behind this line in this area of the board, and on this side of the board behind this line, anywhere in this large square area is where the Overseer's monsters will start. The players as a group choose which Catacomb Lord they're going to face. There's Shargilla, the Gorgon. There's 4 possible. You've got Himatha, the Lich Lord. Let's see what else we got here. Foshar, the Dragon. And of course the easiest and suggested starting Catacomb Lord is Vesisac, I don't know how you say Vesisac, the Sorcerer. So that's the one that I've set up to start with. So the Overseer player playing the Catacomb Lord will take his player mat, put his portrait card, his rules card, setup and rules cards, and it shows his starting health. So you put a health marker at that spot. He'll also take the Devoured and Teleport cards and put them on his side of the board, face up. And the Overseer will shuffle the remaining item cards that were not taken at the start by players and the poison deck, and then just place them near the board somewhere, such as over here. And in a good sized table, the monster pieces should be put somewhere near the Overseer player. However, for me, I'll just have them over here on this side of the board, different wooden monster pieces. And you've got your wooden gold coins and platinum coins. The platinums are worth 5 gold. So you just put those pieces somewhere near the board. And you just place your missile shot, ice shot, fireball shot pieces all somewhere near where the players can reach them, because all players could possibly use those. Alright, then you'll shuffle these rune cards by level. So you've got level 0, level 1, and level 2. So you'll shuffle each of those decks up and place them face down. Alright, so we've got level 1, or level 0, level 1, level 2, and then the Overseer will make a vertical column. Well, I guess it's vertical depending on which way the board is facing. For me, it's really more horizontal, but a column of cards, or in my case, a row of cards in this order. I'll take a level 0, and a level 1. Then you'll take your Is-Check the Merchant card. And we'll put it like this. Okay, then another level 1. Another level 1. And you take your Althea the Healer card. Then a level 2. And finally the Catacomb Lord's Lair. And the rest of these cards will not be used in this game. I will mention there are a couple of other special cards, the Alewife Tavern and the Amaranthin, which can be used instead of the Merchant and Healer card. But this is the suggested gameplay, especially for beginners. So we won't go into these cards, but you can look them up in the rules, and they can be used in place. The players can choose which ones to use, or you can do a random draw to see which ones to use, but the suggested starting special rooms are the Merchant and the Healer. So that is set up. We're all ready to go. Got our monster pieces over there, our board set up here. Players have their player boards and characters all set up. The Catacomb rooms is set up, and the Overseer has the Catacomb Lord board all set up. Alright, so how to play. The game is played in 4 phases. You've got your exploration phase, setup phase, battle phase, and then the resolution phase. So, first thing you do in the exploration phase is the Overseer will flip the first unexplored room card. So for this one we've got the Oakhearth Hall, and it will show which monsters will need to be set up. Now there's several different ways that it can show what monsters that we'll set up. So let's go over an easier one. So the room card, like an easier, we'll go over what this one means, but an easier one like this will just show you which monsters you need to set up. So like this one here, the Outer Bailey will show that you need, the Overseer will take 2 centaurs, an orc, and then these ones with the question mark are mercenaries, and to figure out which monsters those are, you look over here at the Catacomb Lord setup, and he'll show you for mercenaries you're going to use the Skeletal Warrior. So that's the easiest type, where it just shows you which monsters you're. So it's broken up into quadrants, so anything here will be a level 1 monster, level 2 monster, level 3 monster, level 4 monster. So, you know, like in this example, all these monsters here would be level 1 monsters. If it had pictures of monsters over here, they'd be level 2, level 3, level 4. So our first card that we draw here shows a monster meter instead of a specific monster. So what this means is you can choose any level 1 monster type, depending on how far up this meter it is. That's the monster level. So one level 1 monster type, and here's one level 2 monster type. So the overseer gets to choose which type of monster, and then he can put all of the monsters of that type. So for example, here are the available level 1 monsters to the overseer, and you can tell the level because they have the only one icon in the meter there. So when you have this monster meter icon level 1, one of them, times 1 means you can choose one monster type of level 1. So we'll just say the overseer is going to choose zombies for his level 1 monster type. So now he can put all of the level 1 zombies if he wants. He doesn't have to put them all. One reason you may not want to put them all is if you have a spell that can summon a zombie, and so you want to leave some out that can be summoned. But for base game, I would just put them all. So let's get all the level 1 zombies. Okay, and there's 4 of those. Now the players, the overseer lets the players look at what monster cards he's choosing so they can see what shot types are available. And we'll go over those in a minute, but let's finish getting our monsters. So the Overlord player puts these monster cards somewhere near his board. There's actually these spaces on his board. And they match the back, so I don't know if in the rules it just says sets them near the board where other players can see them. I don't know if they're supposed to go on these spaces or if maybe this is for monsters he summons. It's not specific about it. I'm going to go ahead and place that there. Okay, for this room we also get to choose one level 2 monster type and choose however many of that monster we choose. Okay, again, you can tell the level 2 because they have 2 spots filled on the meter. So these are all the available level 2 monsters. So we get to pick one of these monster types, and we'll just go with the troll. And again, because we're using the monster meter icon, we can put however many of the trolls there are. I think there's actually only 2, so we'll put both of them. So we've got the 2 available trolls. And you may notice the color that surrounds the little meter there shows what family the monsters come from. So it lets you know what pile to get. The green, the troll is from the green discs. Those are the dungeon family. The gray, which if you saw our zombie that we chose, they have the gray meter. The gray is the undead, so you know to grab them from the undead. There's also the infernal is orange. I think mythological is blue, and vermin is these brown or beige colored creatures. So anyway, we'll put that troll card here. Now, one other thing that was on this room card is this suppression box, and that shows what kind of shots are not allowed in this room. So we haven't gone over what all those are, but those are poison shots. So that's a poison missile shot, poison melee shot, or a poison rush shot. So you can't do pretty much any kind of poison shot in this room. So if you had characters, or the overseer had characters that could do poison attacks, those would not be allowed in this room. Okay, so that's we've chosen our room card. The overseer's picked which monsters he's going to use. Since they weren't specified, they were just showed the monster meter icon. So next. Alright, so now that the Overseer has decided which monsters he's going to use, he places them, remember, behind this line in the monster area, however he wants them to be. So, you may want to put so the heroes can't get you, or, behind one of these barriers, but you also want to be able to attack the heroes also. So, anyway, we'll just say like that. So the Overseer sets up his monsters, and now the hero characters will place their characters in this area however they want to start out. So maybe the Barbarian wants to start there, and because he thinks he'll have a good shot. Say maybe the Wizard wants to start where he's behind a barrier and can't be hit right off the bat. And we'll just say maybe the Thief wants to start over there. So that's the exploration is flipping over the room card. The setup is the Overseer choosing the monsters, or getting the monsters he's going to play, showing the cards to the heroes so they know what shot types those monsters can take, and then the heroes setting their start position. Now, a couple things on these monster cards that we didn't talk about. The blood drop there shows the health of these monsters. So the zombies, if they get hit once, they're dead. The trolls have 2 health. So if they get hit, the first time they get hit, all the monsters start on their white side. If the trolls get hit, you flip them over to their black background side, and then if they get hit again, then they're destroyed. And you'll see the zombies don't have a backside because they can only take 1 hit. Okay, then this gold icon here shows how much gold the hero who managed to kill that monster receives in the resolution phase. And then again, shows the shot types that these monsters will do, which we're about to go over because we're about to talk about the battle phase. So the battle phase starts with the heroes performing an action that's either performing the basic shot on their rules card, or maybe using an item or a spell. Then once all the heroes have completed their action, then the Overseer gets to take a action with each of his monsters that remain on the board, and you'll go back and forth until either all the monsters in that room are destroyed, or until all the heroes are eliminated. So let's just start with an action, that Alani the Thief here has. So it shows she can take a melee shot followed by that symbol means a rush shot. So a melee shot is simply flicking your disc, and you use a finger to try to flick it, and you're trying to hit one of the monsters. If you hit one or more monsters with your melee shot, then you score 1 hit or do 1 damage to them. So again, she gets to do that. Then she gets to do a rush shot. Now a rush shot is simply kind of the same. You get to flick your disc again, but if you hit another monster, or if you hit a monster, you don't do any damage to them. So you may want to use the rush shot to, just try to knock a monster away, or maybe for yourself to escape a little bit. And I just wanted to mention old Alani's special rule here. She said she receives 1 gold bonus for each monster killed. So, I showed on the monster card that this zombie, if he's killed, whoever kills him gets 1 gold in the resolution phase. Well, Alani would get 1 additional gold. So that's kind of her special ability. So Zorik, he just does a melee attack on his turn. That's his basic attack. Now he does have this item where he can do a chain shot attack. So we haven't talked about items really yet, but if he were to use this item, this symbol here shows that it can only be used once, and then it's discarded. So this chain symbol shot shows that he can do 4 melee attacks in a row, basically. But a chain shot attack, you cannot attack the same monster twice in a row. So Zorik could flick down here, maybe hit this zombie, then he could flick again, but he could not aim at that same zombie, so maybe he flicks over to aim at this zombie. Of course, if you hit that zombie, it would be dead anyway because they only take 1 hit. But if you're fighting a monster that takes more than 1 hit and you hit it, then you can't attack it again, so maybe he attacks another monster. Then you can go back and attack that one again. So again, he has he could do 4 shots. If he used this item, he could do 4 shots in a row, not attacking the same monster twice in a row, but then that item is discarded and out of the game. And he has 2 of these, so he could do that twice during the game, but you may want to save those till you're deeper down in the catacombs and fighting the harder monsters. So Morag, he just has the melee shot, so again he can just flick his disc at one of the monsters, hoping to hit him. And he does have this icon here on his rules card, which we haven't talked about. So that's called a nullifies box, and it works similar. We talked about the room card had the suppress box, saying you can't do that type of shot in the room, those poison shots. Well, for Morag, he has this nullifies box where basically he nullifies any poison shots. He's an undead skeleton, so poison's probably not going to affect him. So if he gets hit with a poison rush shot or poison melee shot or poison missile shot, he takes no damage from that. So that's what that nullifies box shows. Alright, now Varish, he has where he can do, like all the other heroes, a basic melee shot where he can just, flick his disc at one of the monsters and try to hit them. Or he's got a fireball ability. When you use an ability, you flip it over and then you can't use it again in this battle room. You have to wait until you get to the next setup phase, and then you can refresh it by flipping it back over. But if he decided he wanted to use the fireball ability, then what he would do is take the fireball token and place it within 1 inch of his character disc, and then he can shoot that, flick that instead of his own disc, and try to hit a monster. And again, if he manages to hit a monster or hit 2, if you ricochet it off a monster and hit another monster, it does damage to both of them. Same with a melee shot. Or if 2 monsters were right next to each other and you manage to hit them both with your missile shot, fireball shot, or with your melee shot, then you damage both of them. Now, if you knock a monster back into another monster, that's not going to damage the monster that he got knocked back into. And so once he's flicked it and it's hit whatever monster or whatever it's going to do, then you just pick it up and take it off the board. So it's considered a missile shot. It's one of the types of missile shot. But anyway, that's his ability to do a fireball. And again, he can do that once per room, then he flips it over, and then when you get up to the next setup phase for the next room, if he's still alive, then he can flip that back over and it'll be available for him to use again. So again, for his action, he could do just his regular melee shot, flicking his disc. He could possibly do his ability and flick the fireball, but he also has a variety of spells. So we haven't talked about poison, but if himself or one of the other heroes, if a spell or ability has an icon like this, it means you can use it on another hero. If it doesn't, then you can only use it on yourself. But he also has drain energy. So if he decides to now when you cast a spell, when the wizard casts a spell, it's only used once. Once you use it, it's out. You discard the card from your hand of spells. It's out of the game. It's not once a round or once a room. It's once per game. So, but if he casts a drain energy, then he would shoot a drain energy missile, which would just be one of these missile shot items. Again, he can put that anywhere within 1 inch of his, if his disc was down here, he can put that anywhere within 1 inch of his disc, and then he can flick that at an enemy monster. Now, the drain energy, or any shot with that pink icon, a pink missile, or anything that's colored pink, the troll, for instance, has the melee attack, but it's colored pink. And that's a symbol for regeneration. So if you get hit, or if you hit a monster, or in the case of the troll, if he hits a hero with his melee attack, then he regenerates 1 health. He does 1 damage to the hero and regenerates 1 health himself. The same with Varish. If he uses this drain energy and shoots and hits a monster with his missile shot, drain energy missile shot, then he damages whichever monster he hits 1 point, but he then regenerates 1 hit point. Now, you can never go higher than your starting health, so he wouldn't want to use that now, when he's at full health, because he wouldn't be able to gain back an extra health. But anything with the pink regeneration color, any shot type, it does the same thing. You gain a health and you do 1 damage to the monster you hit. The wizard also has the fireball spell, similar to his fireball ability. He would put that fireball disc and flick it and shoot it. So he could, in theory, use his ability to shoot a fireball, flip that over, and then cast his fireball spell and get to shoot the fireball again. But then he would have to discard that spell, and it's gone for the rest of the game. The wizard also has the heal spell, so for his action, instead of making an attack or something, he could cast this spell and heal 4 points of damage to himself. Again, because it doesn't have that hero icon on it that I showed you earlier, he can only cast that on himself. But if he casts that on himself, it has 4 icons, so he would heal 4 points of damage, up to his maximum. Again, you can't go over your maximum. Okay, another spell that Varish has is the Ice Blast, which allows him, similarly to this missile, you again put it anywhere within 1 inch of your disc, and then you get to flick it. And if you hit somebody with an Ice Blast, it's an ice shot. So the Ice Blast or any ice shot done by anybody, if you hit somebody with it, it doesn't actually damage them. You place the ice shot token on top of them, and they're frozen. So then on their turn, they don't get to take a turn. Now, the only way they can become unfrozen is if somebody knocks that disc off of them. So, if it's a hero that gets frozen by the overseer doing some sort of ice shot against them, then you may want to flick your disc at them to try to knock that ice shot off. Similarly, if the wizard freezes a monster, the Catacomb Lord or overseer may want to try to flick one of his monsters at him to knock the disc off of him, so he'll become unfrozen. So while they're frozen with the disc on them, they can't take any actions. They can't take any damage either, but they can't take any actions. One thing we just saw, if you, I flicked this at him and knocked him off. If you get knocked off of the board, you just get replaced on the board at the area where you went off as close as you can remember to do it. And the same if you're shooting at somebody and you shoot yourself off the board, you just come back on the board at the nearest spot to where you went off. Alright, let's see what other kind of spell the wizard has. Magic missile, basically he can do a missile shot and then another missile shot. So again, we kind of saw earlier with the missile shot, he could put one of these within an inch of his disc, shoot it, then he can do another one. So if he casts magic missile spell, he basically gets to do 2 missile shots in a row. But remember, casting a spell or using an ability or doing a melee, that's all an action. So you can only do one of these things. You can't do a melee shot and then say, oh, I also want to use ability and I also want to do a spell. You only get to do one on your turn. So you have to wait till your next turn to do something else. But like this, he would do the melee shot and then the other melee shot. That's all part of this one spell. Okay, he's also got this shield spell. So if he casts the shield spell, lets him take the shield token, again put it within an inch of himself, then he can flick it at, he could flick it at an enemy, and it does no damage, but you can use it kind of to knock him away. So it's kind of like you're knocking him away with your shield. Then you get to take the shield token back after you flicked it and place it anywhere within 1 inch of yourself. So it's kind of acting as a shield for you, so to block somebody hitting you. But you can't move it after that. It'll stay on the board for the rest of the battle phase in this room, or the rest of the battles in this room. So you'll end up moving away from it, or it might get knocked away and it just stays where it is. But if Varish dies, or whoever casts a shield dies, then of course it disappears. Or if he were to cast another shield spell, then he would pick it up and again get to shoot it. Whatever. So anyway, that's basically how a shield spell works. And finally, he has the teleport spell. If you cast the teleport spell, he would take his self off of the board, come onto this teleported card, and then on the next round of battle, the next time it's his turn, then he can come back on any edge of the board that he wants to and take a melee shot. Alright, well that's all of Varish's spells. Let's look at what kind of shots the 2 creatures we've got out can do. The zombie, now when a shot has the arrow, or when an ability, like we saw here, Ilani, she can do a melee shot and then also a rush shot. In the zombie's case, if it has the bar like that between them, you choose which type of shot to do. So he can do a regular melee shot where he just flips his disc. He'll just get to flip it at, a hero. Or he can do a rush shot, and you'll see it's blue, which means it's got the stun ability. So again, remember, a rush shot is kind of like a melee shot. You're just flicking your disc. And you can hit somebody with it, but it does no damage. If you hit a hero with it, it doesn't actually do any damage. So you can use it maybe to push a hero away or to reposition yourself or something. But his rush shot, if it's got that blue, that does a stun. So if the Catacomb Lord said, okay, with this zombie, I'm going to use his rush stun shot. And he's going after Varish, so he hits Varish. It doesn't do any damage because it's a rush shot, but Varish has to flip over to his blue side, and he's stunned, which means he doesn't get to take an action on his next turn. Then the monsters would finish their turn. Then it would be the hero's turn again. But Varish, because he's stunned, would not be able to take any actions. Then the monsters would take their turn again. Then next time it's the hero's turn, then Varish could flip himself back over and not be stunned and can take his actions regularly. Now, when you're stunned, you can still take damage, but you can't be stunned twice. So if he was stunned and then the monsters on their next turn, they couldn't hit him again and stun him again. You can't be stunned while you're stunned. Now, if you're stunned and you have a familiar, which we haven't talked about, but there's a type of item you can get that's a familiar, kind of another little creature or something that you're using with your hero, kind of a little helper. Even if you're stunned, you can still activate your familiar if you have one. But other than that, the actual hero character itself cannot take an action if it's stunned. So any blue, this happens to be a rush blue shot, but there could be like, you can see like Vasek or Vasisak, however you say him. He gets to do a shield shot. This is his shield. So he gets to do a shield shot, and then he also has a melee shot, which stuns. So we'll talk about that more in a minute. But there are different types of shots that can stun you: a missile shot, a rush shot, melee shot. We talked about the troll already. He has a melee attack with the regeneration. So if he hits somebody, he does a damage to them and also regains health. And of course, the Catacomb Lord, he doesn't come into play until you actually get to his lair at the end, and then that's when you'll place his piece on, and you'll place his piece on all the monsters that are in his minions thing. So 4 zombies, 2 trolls, 2 fire demons. But anyway, we're not really ready to talk about that. But I just wanted to show, since we were talking about how he had the stun melee shot and a shield shot. When we talked about Varys the Wizard, he could just cast that shield shot, and he gets to shoot it and then reposition it next to him. Well, in the case here of Thassasak, he would do a shield shot, where he could shoot it. Then he would do his stun melee shot. Then he would do a regular melee shot. And after he's finished those shots, then he could reposition this next to him, kind of as a shield. So if you have a sequence like this, you do your shield shot, then you do any other shots you have, and then you can reposition the shield in front of you. Alright, there's this handy little reference that shows all the shot types. So we've talked about the basic melee shot, rush shot. We've talked about missile shot, fireball shot. There is a giant fireball and boulder that if you use the giant fireball, you do 2 damage, and if you use the boulder, you do 3 damage. Although I think the rules said those are not used in the base game. I guess you have to have one of the expansions. We talked about the ice shot. We didn't talk about the target shot. If you have an ability that lets you do the target shot, you use this. Similarly, you put it within an inch of your hero or whichever character is taking the target shot, and you can flick it. Now the difference is you can, if you don't hit your target, you can take an additional shot from where that ended to flick one more time. But you have to declare what target you're going to shoot at. So if I say I'm shooting at this guy here, and first shot I hit, I don't make it, then I can shoot again from where that shot ended. Okay, then we talked about rush shots. Again, you flick, but you don't actually do any damage with the actual rush shot. However, you can poison or stun somebody. We talked about stun. We haven't talked about poison yet. If you get hit with a poison rush shot, then of course the initial hit from the rush shot does no damage, but then depending on how many poison cards are indicated, like if it has a little symbol like that, then if you get hit with that, you have to draw one poison card. When you draw a poison card, it has a number on it, and you put it, the characters have a little area where poison cards go. If you ever accumulate a number of poison cards that their total equals more than your starting health, then the hero is defeated. Now there's some, if the like the wizard has this cure poison spell, so for his action, instead of shooting or doing another spell, he casts this cure poison, then that lets you remove a poison card of your choice from your stack of poison cards. Okay, then a red, that's critical, so that's just a critical missile shot, a critical melee shot. A critical shot just means it does 2 damage instead of 1. A fear shot, so you've got your fear missile shot or your fear melee shot. If you get hit with a fear shot, it does the same. You get 1 point of damage, but then they also get to flick you like you ran away. So if Zorik got hit with a fear shot, then after he's hit and takes a point of damage, then the overseer would get to flick him, one flick in whatever direction he wants to shoot him. So it's kind of like a making you run. And that's with the melee or missile shot. Again, poison missile shot, the same. You would take a point of damage from getting hit with the missile shot. Then you would also have to draw a poison card. We talked about regeneration, where whoever hits you with that, they get to get a point of health back themselves. Again, blue stun, we've talked about that. Corrosion. Corrosion does a point of damage to you, and then also one of your items gets destroyed. So if you have more than one item, like the barbarian starts with 2, if he still had both, well, since they're the same thing, it wouldn't matter, but you got to discard one item. If you have more items, you shuffle them up and then randomly discard one. So that's what corrosion, so it'll do a damage and you got to discard an item. Again, critical does more than 1 damage. We've talked about all those. Transform. In the base game, the fire spirit has the transform ability. So if you had the fire spirit out, this one, you would shoot it. If if you get hit by it, then you take a damage. Then they can flip it over and it becomes a firewall that stays on the board. And then if a hero gets ricocheted into that or hits that for any reason, then they take a point of damage. So it just becomes like a permanent on that battlefield, permanent obstacle that will damage the heroes if they hit it for any reason. So she could do a regular melee shot, or she just flicking herself, or she could decide to do the transform shot where she flicks, does damage, and then transforms into her firewall. And then if they do transform into the firewall, they don't, when it's the monster's turn again, they don't get to flick that. It just stays wherever it happens to get knocked around to. And in the base game, that's the only monster that can do a transform. Maybe in some of the expansion, there's some that can transform into other things. What else did we miss? Petrify. If you are hit by a petrify shot, then you're just immediately turned to stone and dead. Yellow is the chain shot. We talked about that. Usually a chain shot, you get to do more than one shot in a row, and you can't damage the same target twice in a row. We talked about that. We've talked about shield shots, talked about teleport. There's some where you can summon a monster. I guess the only other one to talk about are these advanced shot types, the bite, devour, and repeat. Alright, if a creature does a bite shot, it's kind of similar to the ice shot, except for it does do damage when it hits you, and then it's put on top of you, and you're kind of frozen, just like if you had the ice shot. And the only way it can be, you can start taking actions again is if somebody knocks that bite shot off of you. So either one of your friends helps you, or a monster accidentally knocks it off you, or whatever. But if it stays on you at the end of the next round, if it's still on you, then you take another point of damage. And if it's still on you at the end of the next round, then you take another point of damage. So ideally, somebody hits you to knock it off of you. So it's similar to the ice shot where you're frozen, except for that you take damage when it hits you, and then at the end of every round following the round where you got it, you take another point of damage if it's still on you. The devoured shot, which can be done by this giant slime or whatever, if he hits you with the devoured shot, well, then you take a point of damage, and your character is placed on this, your token, whoever this guy, whoever it is placed on this devoured card, and then you're basically out of the battle until either the monster that has the devoured shot ability is destroyed, or hopefully the heroes win and defeat all the monsters. In either case, to win the battle, they will have to defeat the monster that did the devoured shot. So whenever he's defeated, either by himself or when all of them are defeated, then you can come out of the stomach of the creature, and you go back on the board wherever the creature that devoured you was defeated at. So, if it was this guy and he was killed here, then you would come out of his stomach on the board there. And I'm not sure about this repeat. The roll shot we didn't talk about, and that's basically if you're doing a roll shot, the character that's doing the roll shot would have to roll like this, and they have to come to a stop touching whatever they're shooting at. If they're touching whatever they're shooting at, then they do 2 points of damage, and then you just lay them down flat again. So I think that pretty much covers all the different shot types, at least the majority of them. So again, the heroes would take their turns doing what shots that they are allowed to do. Then the monsters would take all their actions, doing whatever shots they're allowed to do, and back and forth until one side is defeated. If the heroes defeat all the monsters in this room, then they go to the resolution phase where they'll get the gold for the monsters they killed. So when your shot kills a monster, like if she hit him, then you take that monster and you put it on your player board. And if Varish killed a monster, he would take that shot and put it on his player board. Then during the resolution phase, for every monster that you've got on your player board, you collect the amount of gold that they're worth. And for example, we said each zombie is worth 1 gold, each troll is worth 2 gold, and of course she gets 1 extra gold for each monster that she killed. And then that would finish the first card in the room. So then the overseer would then go back to the explore phase and flip over the next card. And of course this would show 2 zombies, 2 mercenaries, which again for this particular Catacomb Lord, those are skeletal warriors. So it'd be 2 zombies and 2 skeletal warriors, 2 skeletal archers, and whatever this guy is, some kind of lobster. I'd have to look at the card to see the exact name of it. Then the overseer would choose a new board. You can never use the same board 2 rooms in a row. The only way that can possibly happen where you can use the same board 2 rooms in a row is when you finally get to the Catacomb Lord's lair. It shows a picture of which board you need to use. So if you'd happen to use that board for this card and then you got to the lair and it showed you had to use that same board again, then you're allowed to do it. But otherwise you got to switch it out for a different board. So then again, then the heroes would line up on whichever side they were supposed to. The overseer would get the monsters he needs to place them on the side of the board. Then you go through the battle phase again, the resolution phase. Then when you get here to Isaac the Merchant, then that allows the players to buy items with the gold that they've accumulated for killing monsters. So the overseer would shuffle up the items cards and he would flip over 6 cards. I'll just do a few, but he would flip over 6, and then the heroes would have a chance to purchase these. It shows how many gold they cost, and they give special or extra powers or whatever. So the only hero that can buy this is any hero with 11 or more starting health. But then he would have this item which allows him to do a melee shot and then another melee shot. If somebody buys this one for 4 gold, it lets them heal. They can use it as an action to heal 3 of their health. Now some of these items, they have this weapon symbol here. So if the heroes look at their card, if they have this weapon symbol down here in their rules card, then they can buy these cards with a weapon symbol. But you'll see like Varys the Wizard, his has got a crossed out, so he can't buy any of these item cards that have a weapon symbol like that. Similarly, some may have a spellbook icon, and heroes that have the spellbook crossed out, then they can't get those. So basically that's saying these characters can't use spells, but you'll see that Varys, his is not crossed out, so he can get spells. And items that have this symbol on them, those can be used once per room. So if you use it in this battle room, then you flip it over, and you can't use it, flip it back over till you're in the next setup phase. So anyway, this one, it lets you do a melee attack and then a missile attack, or if you're the elf character, you can do a melee attack and a critical missile attack. So different items you can buy. And the characters, the heroes can pool their gold to buy an item for a certain character. However they want to do it, they can pool their gold and buy items and give them to whoever. Again, the overseer will flip over 6, and that's what's available. But the players can pay 2 gold to have the overseer, flip over the next card and make another one available, and they can do that as many times as they have gold for. So anyway, when you get to the merchant card, then you can possibly buy items that can help you, give you different abilities and whatnot. Then you go to another dungeon room card, and then you get to Althea the healer. So first thing, when you get to her, she'll cure 1 poison card from somebody for free, so the heroes can decide amongst them who they want the free poison card removed from. Then she will cure or heal an additional poison card from anybody for 4 gold. She will heal health points for 3 gold per point. And if a hero, one of the heroes was killed, if your health gets all the way down to the skull, then you're defeated and you can't participate in any more battles, as you move along. But if you're killed, earlier before you get to the healer, if the other heroes make it to the healer, they can pay 10 gold to resurrect you and bring you back to life. And you're brought back to life with just 2 health points, but then any gold you had and that you had earned before you died, you can spend those to try to heal yourself up and so forth. So that's what you can do with the healer. Then you'll go through one more dungeon card, which that one's a level 2, so the monsters will be a little higher. And then finally you get to the Catacomb Lord, where again you'll have to use the board he specifies. Then he will go on the board along with his minions that are on his setup card. So 4 zombies, 2 trolls, and 2 fire demons or whatever, whatever I said that is. And then you'll get in a final battle with him. And if you, again, like this guy, he starts with 6 points. If you defeat the Catacomb Lord, then you win the game. You don't have to defeat all of the monsters and the Catacomb Lord. You just have to be able to defeat the Catacomb Lord and get him down to 0 health. And if you manage to do that, then you win Catacombs. So that's pretty much how the game plays. I guess we'll go through a couple of example turns just to, I guess, set it in your head. Alright, so during setup we drew this card. That was the zombies and trolls, or what the overseer chose. He set them up on that side of the board. Now the heroes have set themselves up on this side of the board. And now they decide, the heroes can take their turns in any order. They decide what order they want to go. I'm just going to go, for right now, I'm going to go ahead and start with the thief, and then go with the barbarian, and then the skeleton, and this guy should be on the board too. And then the wizard. So we'll start with Alani the thief. And remember, she does a melee shot and then a rush shot. So she doesn't really have a good clear shot at anybody. So let's just say she's going to, since she doesn't have a good clear shot, I don't think I want to get her set up where she'll be sitting duck for those guys. So she's just going to kind of take her melee shot and go there, and then her rush shot and go there. And then she's hoping on the monster's turn they'll come up here. But now it's Zorik the barbarian's turn. Now he can just do a melee shot, or he could spend one of his items and get 4 melee shots in a row. But I don't think this early in the game he wants to do that. He thinks maybe he's got a good clear shot down there, so let's see. Oh, he slid right in between those zombies. So he didn't hit anybody, nobody's damaged, and now he's kind of in a bad position because he's in position to get hit by a lot of people. So not too good. All right, now Morag, the skeletal explorer, he's going to take his action. All right, now you'll see he hit both this troll here, and then he ricocheted and hit that zombie. So the troll, since it has 2 health, it flips over and it's still alive. But the zombie that he hit is killed because it only has 1 health point, and he'll put it on his board, so he'll get gold for that. And you can see that's all he can do is a melee shot. So finally we're at the wizard. So he can try to just position himself better and do a melee shot. He could cast one of his spells. He could do a fireball. I think he's just going to try to position himself better. So he's just going to kind of move down here and try to still stay behind a barrier. Well, that's not exactly where I wanted to get. But all right, so that's the hero's turn. So now the Dungeon Lord, or Overseer, Catacomb Lord, he gets to shoot with all of his monsters. So he'll start with this troll. He wants to get some revenge on old Morag. He's not supposed to be on his stun side. He's supposed to be on his white side. So I'm going to try to get him with the troll. I do. So he takes the damage. So we move his health down to 9. His starting health is 10. Alright, so that troll has gone. Now let's use this troll. He's going to try to hit the barbarian. He does. So he's got to take a point of damage. And now this zombie will hit him also. Knocked him way over here. So he takes another point of damage. Both these zombies, they both got him. So that's 2 more points of damage. See, I told you he got himself in a pickle up there. And that's all the monsters. Oh, and I forgot the troll, since he has the regeneration shot and he hit Morag, he gets to flip back over because he gains 1 health back. Now the zombies, I was just doing their melee shot. They do have the rush shot where they could stun, which I could have been doing, but I wanted to do some damage, so I wasn't using that. Alright, so all the monsters, I think I did a turn for all the monsters, so now we're back to the heroes. And they're kind of not in a good position because Alani's got herself blocked off where she can't really hit anything. The wizard, he can probably shoot his fireball and get something. But I do just want to show using one of these battle axes. So we'll say Zorik's going to take his turn first. And he's going to use his Berserker battle axe, so he gets to do 4 melee shots in a row. But then this is gone from the game. He spent it. So now he gets 4 melee shots in a row. So he's going to do 1 that kills the zombie, so he gets to take that. Then he's going to do 2, and that's going to flip this guy over. Then he can't hit the same one again in a row. 3, so he gets to hit that guy. And now he's going to try to hit with his last one. He's going to hit that guy, and that takes him out because that was his second shot. So he got to kill 2 guys. All right, that's his turn. But now he's kind of blocking old Mora. See, I should be able to walk around the other side of the table and shoot better, but I kind of have to do it this way. Old Mora, he's going to try to hit this zombie on his turn. And I got him. I flew off the board. But this guy's dead, so that goes onto Morag's thing. That's Morag's turn. So we'll say Varish, he's going to use his ability to do this fireball, so I flip it over. Again, he won't get to use it again in this room. So I get to position it within 1 inch of him. And I'm going to try to hit that zombie down there. And that was terrible. So that's just removed. Again, heroes can't damage other heroes. Monsters can't damage other monsters. So finally, the only one that hasn't gone is Alani. Now, she gets a melee and then a rush shot. So her melee shot's going to kind of be wasted because she can't really hit anybody. And then I guess for her rush shot, she's going to try to knock that troll and maybe help block Zorik since he's damaged. Well, that was no good. Anyway, alright, well that's the hero's turn. Okay, monster's turn again. So this zombie, I guess just to show the stun shot, he's not going to do his melee shot, he's going to do a rush stun. So he's going to hit Morag. Morag comes back on, but he's flipped over to the stun. Now that doesn't do him any damage, but he's stunned, so on his turn next round he won't get to take an action. Now this troll, he'd really like to hit the barbarian, but he's not going to be able to, he's blocked, so he's going to go ahead and hit Alani for 1 point of damage. And that's all the monsters. So again, now it's back to the hero's turn. So old Zorik, he'll flick and hit this. That's going to kill this guy. And Morag is stunned. He can't take a turn. So Ilani, she's going to do nothing. The wizard, good lord, he can't get anywhere. Alright, so that's the hero's turn again. The zombie, he's going to do his melee shot. Oh, well, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to hit him, so he's back here. Oh, well, now I did another terrible shot. Anyway, so he missed. Well, good for the barbarian, since he's the only zombie left. But now, that's the end of the monster turn. It's the hero's turn again, so Mora gets to flip back over. And we'll just let Alani go first. Oh, and she misses. Terrible. So he's going to go and get him. So he's going to get a lot of gold. Alright, so they've defeated all the monsters. So now in the resolution phase, Alani didn't kill anybody. She gets no gold. Barbarian gets 1 gold for each of these and 2 gold for each of these. So he gets 6 gold. So he'll take a platinum, that's worth 5, and then a regular, that's worth 1. And then these monsters go back to the monster pool. Morag gets 2 gold for these monsters that he killed. I've been saying Morag, but it looks more like it's Marorg. Marorg, the skeleton. Anyway, he gets 2 gold. And of course, Varish, he didn't do crap that entire battle. So, alright. So that finishes that battle room. Now we would flip this one over. The Overseer would choose a new board, and then he would put, again, 2 zombies, 2 mercenaries, which are the skeletal warriors, and 2 skeletal archers. So he would put, these cards back in the monster deck. He would find the cards for these monsters and this monster, put them out here, put them on the new board, and, we'd go again. Of course, these monsters would have different attacks than the ones that we saw, like the... let's just see what the skeletal warriors and skeletal archers attacks are. Yeah, so these cards must not go here on this board. They just must sit beside the board somewhere, because we would have, 1, 2, 3, 4 monster cards, and there's only spots for 3. So I think this is maybe for spots of summon monsters. I'm not sure. But anyway, so they would be fighting skeletal warriors, zombies, skeletal archers, and the giant scorpion. So skeletal warrior, he just has a regular melee attack, but he can't be hit with missile shots at all. Any kind of missile shot. Skeletal archer, he can do a melee attack, or he can shoot a missile that stuns. And the giant scorpion, he does a rush shot, and then he does a critical melee, which, remember, we said the critical does 2 damage instead of 1. He's a level 3, and he's got 2 health, so of course if you hit him, then you'd flip him over, but then he's worth 3 gold for whoever killed him. So anyway, that's the way it would go. And you move through the catacombs till you finally, hopefully, make it as far as getting to the final Catacomb Lord's lair and fight the Catacomb Lord and his minions. If you get defeated before then you lose. If you get defeated in the Catacomb Lord's lair, you lose. But if you manage to make it to the Catacomb Lord's lair and get the Catacomb Lord down to 0 health, then you win Catacombs. And that's how it goes. I think it's a fun game. I'm not very good at this dexterity. Again, you would not want to play it in a setup like this where you can't get to all sides of the board. So better to play it on a table where you can get all the way around it so you can get better shots. Again, this is the base game, 3rd edition. I actually do have this Caverns of Soloth expansion, which I've never opened. I forgot I even had it. I opened this box to play this, and that was inside of it. So yeah, I may need to get that out. I think it comes with some more heroes and some more monsters and more catacomb lords. So I don't know. I'm sure there's different items and spells and stuff like that. But I think it's a fun game. Haven't played it enough to give a good opinion on it. But if you like or you think these dexterity games are fun, then I think you'd enjoy it. I should probably play it more than what I have. Not sure why I have only played it the one time, other than, like I said, usually when I get together with my game group, we just kind of do a random vote or a random draw of games that I own and get like 3 different groups and then vote on one of them. So this one probably just hasn't come up in a vote. Other than way back in 2016 when we played it. So anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.